I am curious, how in your life has Mary been a mother to you?
Man, it's a really good question. One of my favorite stories, and it's kind of a compilation of stories, but a thing I used to do when I was a kid. I told you I became Catholic when I was 13, and we had like a secret Santa shop when I was like 6 or 7. Um, 8 years old in school, and I would bring my mom home, my Lutheran mom, these like little Marian things. I thought they were really cool, and I was always drawn to her, and just hearing about, yeah, Jesus' relationship with his mother, and me having this kind of strained, difficult relationship with my dad. It was a very easy thing for me. I talked about John Eldridge earlier in his book Father by God, and that book was really the turning point. And this is when I was like 23, when I started to like really have a relationship with God the Father, because my relationship with my earthly father was so strained. But in all of that time, Mary was a huge, huge part of my life and continues to be to this day, of course. But I think the most important moments for me, and it's funny because I was actually that my main time I get emotional is in prayer, and it happens somewhat frequently. But I was praying this morning in the church next door where I work. I run an office at a parish, but there's a church next door, and I was praying. I actually had my iPad with me because I was preparing for a retreat that I'm leading tomorrow, and something just prompted me to watch the video clip of the Passion of the Christ, where Mary runs to Jesus as he's falling. And if you remember that from the movie, there's like a back and forth between Jesus being a boy and him on the day of his passion. And the what came to mind was just this recollection, this reflection, which is where Mary was most important in my life, is this image of Mary running to us every time we fall. We fall into sin and you feel abandoned and you feel like you've rejected God and you've said no to God and you've broken your relationship with him, especially with mortal sin, which happened to me just constantly, especially through my college years where I was having this just flood of spiritual warfare where the Holy Spirit and God were really pursuing me and the devil was really pursuing me as well. I always say it's because both of them knew that whoever won me would have somebody who was going to be an evangelist for them, right? I was very influential in sin and promoting sin, and I was very influential in promoting goodness. And so I had a lot of that, and I felt like Mary, every time that I fell away and felt like I couldn't come back, I couldn't pray, I could still go to the church and just kind of spend time with her. And it wasn't that I couldn't spend time with God the Father or with Jesus, but she was just always for me the approachable one
Mm.
who would run to me when I fell, pick me up, and help me to go back to her son and to embrace him in confession and all of that. So, huge role in my life. I have a weird relationship where I haven't been as devoted or consistent with praying the rosary in my life as I should, but have always felt like I've had a really strong relationship with Mary, and she's always been super important in my life. So,